So the story of this engine is kind of a different one. I believe it came in the truck and it was sold as a good running engine. When they tried to get it to start and get it to run, all it did was pop and didn't run whatsoever. They checked a few things. One of the things that they did, they pulled the valve covers off, and right now they're all loose, but all of these rocker arms were super duper tight and had bent a bunch of the push rods. So for example, on a small block Ford, you torque down the arms to specific torque. On this one, on a small block Chevy, you don't do that. You have to check the valve lash. So it looks like somebody had done that, and well, the plan is we're going to see if this engine will run. We're going to do a couple of tests on it. I want to take the intake off in order to look at the lifters and look at the camshaft, make sure they look okay. Also, we're going to do a compression test and also a leak down test in order to see if the motor is worth putting any more time into. The thing is, it looks really nice on the outside, but that doesn't necessarily mean the inside is any good. The backup plan for this truck, if that other motor doesn't work out, is there's a motor in here. So there's a motor in here. It's just a small block Chevy 350 that if that other motor doesn't work out, then we're going to throw this motor in it. I'm hoping the one in it will work just fine. It's less work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this battery charged and then go ahead and start disassembling things. The intake, the valve covers, all that kind of stuff. And from there, we can expect everything on the motor and see what we have to work with. I don't think they really did much damage turning it over with the rocker arm so tight. And the only thing they might have done is they might have bent some of the valve stems. We'll see. Again, it's one of those things you just got to get into it and see what happens. With the carburetor, distributor, and all the accessories off, we can take the intake off. The reason why I want to do it is all of these are all loose, which means the push rods can come out and I can pull the lifters out and look at them, make sure they're not totally screwed up. Thing is, I just don't know how much spinning around with 100 foot-pounds on each rocker was done. So, gooey. The intake off. I mean, it's fairly clean, but why is there like bearing grease inside every single lifter? There's bearing grease in each lifter. There's bearing grease on top of each valve stem. It's just nasty. I'll get you guys a better look. There's bearing grease everywhere. Why they did that, I don't know. Good thing the engine never really ran. Oh. This is why. See that? Broke a push rod and there's a piece stuck. So the heck, there might be push rods down the oil pan. But yeah, someone had no idea what they were doing, basically. So I think most of these push rods are new. I'm going to check all of them and make sure that they're straight. I think they were replaced once they all got bent. But I need to yank some of these lifters out and take a look at the bottom edges of them and see what they look like. So you can see how crazy tight and torqued down these push rods were. This is one, used to be one, definitely broken, almost broken in 3 separate pieces. Here are the push rods that I found in the truck. And as you can see, there's at least one, this one right here, that is bent. And also this one has been replaced. So, and if you look at them this direction, you can see how they don't all line up. I'm going to recommend new push rods if everything else checks out. Luckily these are pretty much a dime a dozen. I might even have some good used ones that he can use if he doesn't want to buy new. But I would say it's going to be like 25 bucks, I believe, somewhere around there. To buy all brand new ones, there's 16 of them. So those are the push rods. Let's yank out some of these lifters and see what we have. Alright, so down here in the depths we have the lifters. Hopefully they're not too stuck. I'm going to try this one just because it's not too bad. It's already halfway up. Oh, I really get that with my hand. Anyway, a lot of times you have to kind of work these lifters out because of varnish. These ones actually look pretty good. Let's get it in the light so you can see it. Alright, so what we're looking for is like a concave. These ones look pretty good. I'm gonna pull out a few more and kind of compare them, see what they look like. I'm gonna make sure I put them back where they went. They look fairly new other than this goop inside of them. But we probably should clean all that out and make sure they're not broken inside as well, because you just never know. Here's that lifter cleaned up. I probably will pull all the lifters and inspect each of them one by one, but this one looks really good. I think it's a brand new lifter. It has almost no wear in it. Once I get all the lifters cleaned up and put back where they go, what I'll do is I will spin the motor over using a remote switch and watch all the lifters move up one by one. And you can pretty much tell when one's not moving up as high as the rest of them. They should all be pretty even. I'm not really worried about the camshaft because you can look down in these holes and you can see it, and it doesn't look too bad. Let me see if I can show that on camera. I doubt I can, but you never know. Anyway, it doesn't look too bad in there. You probably can't see a darn thing on camera, but I looked at a few of them. They're not too bad. So I'm thinking what we will do is we will verify that all the lifters are going up and down. Then from there we can do a compression test and a leak down test to make sure we don't have any bent valves. And then from there we can put the top end back together the way it's supposed to and see if the truck will run. Since we have the motor torn down, there's a couple things I want to show you. So first off, something weird was there were a couple spark plugs that just weren't in the engine whatsoever. There was one here and one on that side that were just completely gone. So I put my own in there just for now. It also has like 4 different styles of spark plug. We have NGK, we have AC Delco, we have Autolite, and we have, I think the next one's a Champion. Anyway, all kinds of different spark plugs on this motor. Another thing I noticed is that we have an issue with the starter already. The main battery terminal right here is touching this solenoid post right here, so we have to adjust that before we go about using the automatic switch which I have in order to turn over the motor. What I want to see, I want to make sure that all the lifters lift up about that much, all down each side. I wanted to pull the cam out, but just all the work it's going to take to get the cam out. You know, it's a water pump, fan, radiator shroud, grill, condenser. It's just like, you know what, we'll just measure it this way. There are tools you can get that measure lift of your lifters, but you know, this isn't really precision rocket science, and it's not a high horsepower motor, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm pretty sure it'll be just fine. Well, the engine turns over with the key inside the car, so obviously my little junky starter switch is garbage. But what I'm going to do is hopefully I can position the camera right about here. That way I can watch the lifters move up and down. And then I'll switch sides and do that again. Oh no, we fell down. Well, you saw it on video. I think the cam's in good shape. Looking at all the lifters and stuff, I'm not really worried about it. They all move up and down, and I'm pretty sure they all spin. One thing I did do, because I knew it was going to happen, is since I have the fuel hose unhooked from the carburetor, I have it spraying down in this bucket underneath, and that's some really nasty gas. Like, it's making me sneeze, it's so fumey. Ugh. So, whenever we do the compression test and the leak down test next, more of that gas will come out, which is probably a good thing. That way, less nasty gas will go in this engine when we try to fire it up, if we try to fire it up. But hopefully we will use this engine. So far I'm happy with the results on it, and we'll keep going. So the main problem with running the engine, or at least turning it over with the rocker arms so tight down, is that it's possible to bend valves. And so this is a leak down tester, and what it does is I'm pumping 90 psi of air pressure into a cylinder, and it's only retaining 30. Okay, so that's not a very good number at all. And you can hear it escaping. It sounds like it's all coming out the oil pan, which isn't good. That sounds like a ring problem. So we're going to go to the next one and see what that one looks like. Alright, here we are with cylinder number 3. 90 psi, it's only keeping 20 of it. I can feel air coming out of this intake valve. So that definitely has a bent valve. Honest goodness truth, I don't know if I should continue. It's pretty bad numbers already. Here's cylinder number 5, 90 pounds. It's holding 35 or so. The highest number of the day. It sounds like it's all going to be coming out of there. Cylinder number 8 at 90. It's got 22 psi. So it's all coming out of. Here on cylinder number 6, which is the most promising of all the cylinders, there's enough compression in the piston rings to actually move the fan. It actually spun the motor. But with 90 psi, we got about 58, which is good, but if that's the only one, it's not going to matter. So 2 more to go. I didn't do the one 2, 4, 6 on that side because, excuse me, 5 on that side because I couldn't get the hose to fit, but it's not going to matter anyway. This engine's not looking too good. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Give me a high five. That's not a high five. That's... Oh. Chopstick. What are you doing over there with Nuda? Are you really excited? Nuda! Come here! Come be on camera! What are you guys doing over there, huh? Oh. What are you doing? Go get the kitties! Get the kitties! Get them! Alright, number 4 with 90 psi gets to 55, so that ain't good either. I'm so glad I tested this last cylinder. Check this out. 90 psi, 10. Alright? That's crazy, but watch this. I can make it make noises on my glove. There's so much air coming out. There's so much air coming out of this intake valve. Alright, this motor's toast. Alright, I'm going to call it. Time of death is 11:30. So I'm not going to bother with a compression test because there's no real point considering how much, I guess, air gets past the valves and the piston rings on this engine. It's pretty bad. So your 1, 3, and 7 are at 30, 20, and 35 with 90 psi, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 at 90 are 10, 55, 55, and 22. So number 3 and number 10, most of the air comes out where the valves are, but the rest of them are all pistons. So it's not like we could just put a new set of heads on it and call it good. I think the rest is just garbage. I don't know who put this motor together or if they're supposedly been rebuilt, but it's not going to be a good motor. I think we need to put a different one in. You guys saw it. That's just sometimes how it goes. You buy something that doesn't run, it's because somebody else messed it up. So Steve will have to decide whether he wants me to use this motor, which is supposedly a good motor, or if he wants me to buy another one or make this one pretty. Whichever. It's going to be up to him. But the motor that's in it right now, that's no good.